Imagine spending your days unseen, unheard, or overlooked. You work hard, contribute, and participate, and still feel invisible. What does that do to the mind, the body, and the relationships that shape your life? This is the science of mattering, the simple, profound human need to feel that you are significant to someone, somewhere, and why that sense changes everything. You know the quiet ache, sitting in a classroom, at a meeting, or at the kitchen table, and wondering whether anyone notices you. That question, do I matter, isn't just a passing thought. It lives in the decisions you make about speaking up, joining in, or holding back. Across schools, offices, and homes, people carry this subtle worry, and it shapes everyday choices in ways that feel ordinary and at the same time deeply consequential. When you feel overlooked, your behavior shifts. You might stop raising your hand, stop offering ideas at work, or stop sharing what's on your mind with a partner. Those small withdrawals add up: reduced participation, weakened bonds, and a gradual narrowing of opportunity. The emotional weight of feeling insignificant touches families and friendships too. When one person withdraws, others adjust, often without naming the cause. What seems like an individual mood can quietly reshape a group's dynamics. Researchers have studied mattering in clear, measurable ways. Harry Levinson and later Morris Rosenberg framed mattering as a perception that others depend on you, are interested in you, and would notice your absence. Rosenberg's mattering scale links that perception to mental health. People who say they matter report less depression and more life satisfaction. Work by Flett and Hewitt extends this. Mattering isn't just recognition, it includes feeling valued, trusted, and emotionally seen by others. These studies don't rely on intuition alone. They point to consistent patterns across age groups and social settings. Institutional policies often assume that structures alone will produce engagement, attendance requirements, performance reviews, outreach programs, but lived experience is messier. Policies can provide access and opportunity, yet the everyday signals people receive, who gets praised, who gets asked a question, who is consulted, determine whether those opportunities feel meaningful. In other words, systems matter, but so do the small interpersonal cues that make a system feel human. The psychology of mattering carries tensions. Speaking up can bring inclusion or rejection. Offering help can invite gratitude or be taken for granted. You learn to weigh risk and comfort, to trade visibility for safety. Cultural norms complicate this further. Some environments reward modesty and silence, others reward assertiveness. Neither path is universally right. What matters is how individuals negotiate these trade-offs in their specific contexts, and how groups respond to the signals people send. There's a practical starting point. Notice. You can learn to look for signs that someone feels significant. Do they lean in, offer ideas, ask for feedback? You can also look for signs of withdrawal, silence, skimming participation, reluctance to take on visible tasks. Small, consistent actions change the dynamic. Asking a quiet colleague for their view, thanking someone for a specific effort, inviting a family member to join a decision. Those moments don't solve everything, but they shift how a person perceives their place in a group. Understanding mattering reframes ordinary life. It changes how you interpret silence and attention, trouble and appreciation. The question, do I matter, is less about ego and more about connection. When you begin to see mattering as a social signal you can influence, you move from helplessness toward agency, and from passivity toward small, steady practices that repair relationships and restore engagement. Let's be specific. Feeling that you don't matter predicts higher rates of depression and anxiety, lower life satisfaction, and diminished motivation. In schools, students who feel invisible are more likely to disengage and fall behind. In workplaces, employees who feel overlooked perform below their potential and are likelier to leave. In families, perceived insignificance can create distance, passive aggression, or secretive coping. These are not dramatic crises in isolation. They are cumulative forces that change trajectories over months and years. Faced with perceived insignificance, people often confront a silent dilemma: speak up and risk rejection, or stay silent and preserve comfort. Either choice carries consequences. Speaking up can lead to recognition and greater involvement, or to being dismissed and further hurt. Staying silent might avoid immediate conflict, but reinforce isolation and missed chances. Over time, repeated avoidance teaches your brain to expect insignificance, which makes future risk feel even more dangerous. Coping strategies vary. Some try to prove their worth through overwork or visible achievements. Others withdraw and hope someone notices. Some create attention through provocative behavior. Others cultivate perfectionism to secure praise. Each strategy has a cost. Overcompensation can lead to burnout. Withdrawal can lead to loneliness. Understanding these patterns helps you recognize them in yourself and others, and opens the door to alternatives that are less costly and more sustainable. A key insight from research is that mattering is both measurable and changeable. Using validated questionnaires like Rosenberg's mattering scale, researchers link perceptions of mattering to physiological outcomes. Chronic low mattering correlates with higher cortisol responses, more disturbed sleep, and weakened immune markers. Conversely, interventions that increase recognition and connectedness produce measurable improvements in well-being. In short, feeling significant isn't just metaphysical, it shows up in your body and can be shifted through social experience. Consider a practical example. Maria, a team member who habitually kept her ideas to herself. Her supervisor began to ask her opinion directly in meetings and to cite her contributions when projects succeeded. Maria didn't change overnight, but over weeks she took more initiative, stayed engaged, and reported higher job satisfaction. That kind of shift is ordinary, but powerful. It illustrates how external acknowledgement, when consistent and specific, can unlock hidden motivation and restore a sense of belonging. The body responds to social signals. Lowered perceptions of significance trigger stress responses designed to mobilize survival behaviors, heightened vigilance, restless sleep, and inflammatory processes when stress becomes chronic. When those signals reverse through genuine recognition and supportive relationships, stress markers decline, moods improve, and cognitive resources free up for learning and creativity. This is why the social environment is a public health concern as much as a personal one. At the societal level, mattering shapes civic life. Communities where people feel significant show higher rates of volunteering, political participation, and mutual support. The opposite is also true. Social fragmentation and perceived insignificance erode trust and reduce cooperation. Addressing mattering isn't merely about individual therapy or team building. It's about how institutions and leaders design practices that foreground human dignity and inclusion. Practical change doesn't require grand gestures. Simple behaviors acknowledging someone's contribution, remembering a detail they shared, inviting them into a decision, create a cumulative meaning. These actions signal that someone matters in concrete terms. Their presence changes outcomes. Their voice shapes process. Their absence would be noticed. Over time, these moments build relational capital that sustains engagement and resilience. In classrooms, teachers can rotate opportunities to speak, solicit ideas from quieter students, and publicly credit contributions. In workplaces, managers can run inclusive meetings by specifically asking for underheard perspectives and giving clear recognition when someone's work advances a project. In both settings, consistency matters. One-off praise is helpful, but steady patterns of inclusion create durable change. At home, mattering thrives on attention to small, consistent rituals, checking in about the day, inviting input on shared plans, and thanking family members for specific actions. Listening, really listening, without immediate problem solving conveys that a person's inner world matters. These practices don't require perfect timing or eloquence. They require presence and a habit of noticing. Leaders shape environments through norms and routines. Policies that prioritize employee voice, community feedback, and transparent decision-making protect spaces where people can feel significant. That requires leaders to model vulnerability, acknowledging mistakes and crediting others, and to design feedback systems that track who is being heard and who is not. Good policy reduces structural barriers, but culture makes the difference between formal inclusion and felt inclusion. Efforts to increase mattering meet resistance. People worry about being manipulative if they deliberately express appreciation. Others fear vulnerability or worry that attention will create entitlement. These concerns are real, but they point to the need for authenticity. Effective recognition is specific, timely, and sincere. It's not flattery, it's truthful accounting of contribution and worth. When honesty guides acknowledgement, the risk of miscalculation declines. Sustained change happens when small acts become habits. Set simple prompts, a weekly check-in meeting where everyone speaks, a short gratitude practice in classrooms, a manager's ritual of public acknowledgement, track changes, engagement metrics, retention, or even self-reported well-being, and adjust. The commitment isn't to perfection, but to persistence. Over months and years, patterns of attention reshape expectations and behavior. If you want to cultivate mattering in your life, start with 3 consistent practices. Notice, name, and include. Notice when someone withdraws or lights up. Name what you observe and offer thanks for something specific. Include them in the next step. Invite their input, ask for their help, or offer a role that shows dependence. Some experiences of insignificance are deep, long-standing, and entwined with attachment histories. Therapy or group work can help individuals explore patterns of self-worth and repair relational scripts that perpetuate loneliness. Professionals can teach communication tools and help redesign interactions so that recognition is both felt and sustainable. Seeking help isn't a defeat, it's a deliberate step toward building a life in which you matter. You can measure change with simple tools. Self-report scales ask about feeling noticed, appreciated, and depended on. Track team participation, the frequency of direct invitations to speak, or the number of times contributions are acknowledged publicly. These metrics aren't exhaustive, but they help you see whether small changes accumulate into measurable improvements. Across contexts, stories repeat. A student invited to speak, who then finds study groups. An employee credited for a project, who then volunteers for leadership. A partner whose small acts of attention repair a strained relationship. Each story is a quiet reversal. A person moves from background to center through simple human acknowledgement. These are not dramatic transformations. They are steady recoveries, one recognition at a time. Acting to increase mattering raises ethical questions. Recognition should never be used as a transactional tool or to manipulate behavior unjustly. It must respect autonomy and be grounded in respect for the whole person. When recognition is sincere, it preserves dignity. Used cynically, it undermines trust. Ethical attention aims to hold both care and honesty simultaneously. In plain terms, feeling that you matter is a social thermostat. When it's high, people engage, collaborate, and take healthy risks. When it's low, people conserve energy, withdraw, and avoid exposure. That thermostat is sensitive to small nudges, words, eye contact, invitations. The science tells us what our instincts already suspected. Attention is currency, and small deposits compound into resilience. This isn't a call to grand gestures, but to modest, steady practice. Adopt one habit this week. Ask someone a question you normally wouldn't. Thank someone by name for a specific thing, or invite a quieter person to share their view. Notice how that person responds, and how the dynamic shifts. Over time, those habits become the scaffolding of more inclusive and caring environments. Mattering isn't a silver bullet, and it won't erase all hardship, but it changes the contours of everyday life. When people feel seen, they make different choices, repair strained ties more readily, and bring more of themselves to shared work. The good news is that mattering is within reach. Through ordinary actions, steady habits, and institutional practices that value human dignity. For those curious to explore these ideas further, you can find related recordings in our playlist or on this channel. Subscribing allows you to continue following this educational journey, and your comments or likes help guide future content. Thank you for learning with us today, and we look forward to sharing more insights in the next video. Thank you for learning with us today, and we look forward to sharing more insights in the next video.